but personally, and you guys have been a part of a lot of charities that I've been able to do. Like the young lady that you guys paid to have the operation to take this extra skin off of her body. You guys, together with me, paid for that. You paid for someone's first year of school because they didn't have the money. So when you ever see me, like GoFundMe or anything like that, my charities, there is a check written directly to the individual because, I don't know, maybe this is just the really bad part of me. I just want to see it myself. I want to see that it really counts. I want to see the individual go from point A to point B. So there's no name on my charities. It's when I hear that there's a person in need and I investigate what that need is, and then I do what I can to get money. If it's clothes for a woman who has 5 kids and school's about to start, then that's my charity. So it depends.
It's me again.
It is you again.
I'm sorry, I'm full of questions today. I'm curious, obviously you are our favorite actors, and I want to know who is your favorite, or maybe who has inspired you even to become an actor.
Well, for me, for a long time, it was Cicely Tyson. And then I had the opportunity to work with her in a film. And I thought, was she really my favorite actor? And the answer is yes, just maybe not my favorite person. But I would say it was Cicely Tyson for a very long time. And while in school, it was Meryl Streep. I admired her so much.
Two people come to mind for my favorite, who inspired me the most. First and foremost is Rick Schroeder. I don't know, how many of you guys know who Rick Schroeder is? Yeah, Ricky Schroeder. Silver Spoons, The Champ. Go watch a movie that was made in like 1974 called The Champ, and he'll blow you away. He's an amazing child actor. So when I was a little kid, like 6 years old, and I said, I want to be an actor, I would watch everything that he was in and kind of study him and say to my parents, like, one day I'm going to work with that guy. And, but I meant it like as a little kid, like I wanted to work with him when I was 9 or 10. Time went by, and I never got to work with Rick. I got to meet him, but I worked on NYPD Blue when he was on it, but we didn't have scenes together. The second person who inspired me was Woody Harrelson. Who knows who Woody Harrelson is? Hey. So Woody Harrelson, I'll give you a really quick story. When I was in the Air Force, I had studied theater, and I had to make a decision. Do I move to California and become an actor, or do I become a cop, like a real cop? Like that was the decision I had to make. Because one was a practical idea. Like I'm going to go be a cop, make real money, or I can go and try to get people to like me and hire me as an actor. So while I was in the Air Force, Woody Harrelson was in a band called Manly Moondog and the Three Cool Cats. And he was, that's crazy. He was touring the country with this little band, and he had just done White Men Can't Jump, and he was still on Cheers. And he came to this bar, and when he came to the bar, I didn't even know he was there. But I saw his road manager, who was this girl, and I was single at the time. And she was kind of cute. And I was living in Texas, and she was from California, and people from California and people from Texas are 2 different types of people. So I noticed like automatically that she was different. I'm like, oh my God, she's amazing. So I started talking to her, and I asked, well, why are you from California? What are you doing here? And she said, well, I represent this band. I look on stage, there's Woody Harrelson. I'm like, what? Why is he? He's in a band? Why is he here? White Men Can't Jump. I play basketball too. And I started like going on this whole rambling thing. And she said, why don't you come upstairs and meet him after the show in the green room? We have a green room? So I go upstairs, and I'm hanging out with her. Her name was Dawn, and I had her card, Dawn Elder. And she said, if you move to Los Angeles, I told her I was an actor. She goes, if you move to Los Angeles, look me up, and maybe I can point you in the right direction. Woody Harrelson was coming around. He was playing a bartender on TV, so he fancied himself a bartender. No, he wasn't. So he tried to make some crazy drink and he was feeding it to everybody. Finally got to me. Everybody, I saw people like tasting the drink and going, you know, making the sour face. I didn't care. I wanted Woody Harrelson to pour me a drink and I'm gonna drink it right in front of him. So he finally comes around, he pours me a drink. I start drinking it. Dawn tells him, John's an actor too. And I go, oh, no, I'm not an actor. Not like you. I do theater, but I'm not a TV. I'm not like you. I'll never be like you. And he looked at me square in the eye and he said, what are you talking about? If an asshole like me can do it, you can do it. And for some reason, that advice is what made me make the decision to move to LA. I had him sign the card, Dawn's card, her digits. I had him sign the back of the card. And he said, cheers, Woody. So to this day, I could run to my bag right now, upstairs, and that was 1992, I think. I could get that card, it's in my wallet every day. And whenever I get down, I go, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know if I'm a good actor, I don't know, if this is the thing for me. I look at that card, and I remember him saying that. That's all like me can do it, you can do it. And so now that's, even when people who want to be an actor ask me that, the same question, I say the same thing. That's all like me can do it, then you can do it. Not meaning I'm an asshole, like a mean person. It just means that I'm not like, gifted. I'm not like born with a silver spoon in my mouth. One of my relatives is not an actor. Like I had to work for it, so did Woody. But to take the step to work for it, like that's what he inspired me to do. To take the first step, which is move to Los Angeles and then get to work for it. So Woody is like my biggest inspiration. So that's
Thank you.
I was wondering whether you prefer working on a TV show or in a movie, just in general, like what are the pros and cons?
I'm not sure if I understand the question.
What do you prefer, working
TV
on a
or
TV show, like a
movie.
series, like casual, or
Or a movie.
yeah.
Okay. Wow. I've done both, and television has been my bread and butter, and it has been a constant for me. And being married in Hollywood and happily married, it's unheard of. And I'm on 30 plus years being married. So I have to attribute that to doing television because it has stabilized me. I don't have to go off to foreign lands all the time. I'm always working, I'm weekly, and I can be home and, because that's the boring part of me. I'm a homebody. I just love family. I just eat it up. That's a big part of who I am. When you do film, though, it's exciting to have that little break. But if I had to choose, it's television. And if you look on the screen now, you see an awful lot of film stars now doing television. Because at a certain age, you just get tired of that. You do want a consistent lifestyle, and I think television affords you that.
I pretty much agree with Penny. Television is definitely, I think there's some great television on today. Maybe when I first started 20 years ago, I wanted to do mostly film, I think. But I think television there's amazing television. There's great writing in television now. Film writers they're writing television. And like she said, film actors, to include Woody Harrelson. They're doing television series. And it does give you like a consistent base. Like for me, it keeps me in Los Angeles. I can work in Los Angeles. Whereas film sometimes can take you all over the world. So yeah, but I mean, there are some cool movies out there that tell great stories. So it's not like I would ever just choose TV only. Yeah. What about you? Do you like TV or film?
I'm actually studying something with film, and television, so I would prefer working on series because I think the characters are much more interesting over the time. And with cable TV, like HBO, there's so many possibilities, so I'm more like series. Yeah.
You can actually develop a longer arc for the character
exactly.
and all the characters, and you can change things. It's more fun to play with it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Good luck in school. That's all I need to do.
Okay, I have a question for John. Yeah. since the character is single now and on castle, do you think maybe in the future there could be a relationship with Tori?
She's so cute.
I think maybe there's definitely been. I know there's been grumblings up in the writers' room about it, and there's been a couple of episodes where they kind of pushed us in that direction with their direction, as far as like how we play the scene with each other, and that they've encouraged the flirting a little bit, I think, but it's never been written in paper, so I don't know. But there's definitely the possibility. There's always a possibility. It's television. You can do it. They can do whatever they want. That's the beauty we were just talking about with television. Is you can change a character's arc just like that.
Okay.
Is that what you're hoping for?
Yeah.
How many people are hoping for Tori and Esposito to go? Let me see. I'm going to take this back to the writers, so let me see your hands. How many people are hoping for Esposito and Laney to? How many people are hoping for Gates and Esposito? Beckett and Esposito? Ryan and Esposito? Martha and Esposito?
He's already done everybody.
She's got great legs.
Hello. Is there any project you would love to work on, like a special TV series you very much like, or any kind of movie, theater work?
Vikings. I want to play a Viking.
You are a Viking.
Hey! Tell history channel
You
that.
are a Viking. You know what, there's not a television role that I think I haven't really done, but there's a theater role that I have to do before I, call it a day. And I have to play the lady.
In Lady and the Tramp?
In that play. Yes, I have to play Lady M. I think I'm nice and ripe for her. I have enough life experience inside of me. I think I could tear that role apart. So Lady M is something I would really like to make sure I get to do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I have another question. We already know your pleasure series, but do you usually watch series? Which are your favorite ones? Do you watch HBO, Showtime, another? You can tell
Well, I
us.
was on a show that invented HBO, actually, the Larry Sanders Show. And I was a straight man on the Larry Sanders Show. It was just a comedy. And it's funny that I'm actually very funny. I just don't get to play funny. I think my straight man becomes funny because she's ridiculously straight. I would love to do comedy. I did several comedies, except they've all been straight. I've always been the straight person in these comedies. But I'd love to do a comedy where I could just crack people. My one-woman show is I'm pretty funny in that. I play about 16 different women, and one of my characters, they're all about women, is called Not My Child, and all about women who are surprised about something about their child that they didn't instill in their child. And so I co-wrote this with a bunch of women, and I play a guy who becomes a woman, and parents don't know, and I play a girl who's hard, and she ends up in prison for what she's done. And I think she's one of the funniest characters I've ever played. And my girlfriend to this day does not know it's her, who's a lawyer, and she's a fabulous lawyer, but I got it all from her. And so I would love to probably do my one-woman show again to show off Brianna, who is, I think, one of the funniest characters that I've created.
And what's your favorite show now?
My favorite show now?
Yeah, on TV.
On television? Oh,
Me,
comedy.
last year,
Comedies?
comedy or drama, whatever.
Now you know I like Strike Back. Okay, and you know I just love Dexter.
Yeah.
I was just so in love with that. You know what John said, there are so many good television shows on
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
I'm really enjoying a lot of them.
Mine is Fargo. Did you see Fargo?
No, I haven't seen Fargo yet.
That's
But
pretty
if
good.
it's on ABC Monday nights at 10, I won't watch it.
What about you, Jan?
I'm a big fan of Game of Thrones. A big fan of Vikings. There's a show called The Americans, called on FX. I also like a show called Peaky Blinders, which is a Netflix series. What else do I watch?
What about True Detective?
Oh yeah, True Detective. Yeah, I do love True Detective. I'm looking forward to the next season of that.
What do you think, guys,
Castle.
that you're doing cops in Castle? And the difference between True Detective and the show you're doing? You see?
Yeah, I mean because it's two different shows, two totally different shows. There's almost no and different styles, different storytelling styles. There's almost no comparison between the two. It's hard to even, you know.
You know what though, John? I was just in New York a short while ago giving an award to a top cop in America. And
What do you say about me?
what was interesting is that at the end of giving the award, the cops all came around me and thanked me for being on a show that showed the human side of police officers, because they, you know, we tend not to think of them as humans because they're just in this position. And so, interesting enough, another woman came up, she says, you know, they have that other show on called True Detective. And I said, do you like it? She says, well, it gives fuel to the hardness of the cop, where people don't like cops, like they're crooked or whatever, compared to you guys giving the human side. So it's kind of like apples and oranges. They really are two different styles.
I didn't want to compare just the way you feel, because you're doing as a cop and they're doing cops and very, very different. And if you
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think that our cops are way better than True Detective's cops. Based on I will be a little serious this much. She's right. When we did the pilot of Castle, we actually got to ride along and walk along with the detectives from a precinct in New York, and it's true. Like, they are laughing when they're walking up to the body. They're jabbing each other, talking about each other's stories, love lives, this and that, until they get to the body. And then even at the body, sometimes they're like, joking, not joking in distaste, but just like going, oh my God, how could somebody have done this guy's gonna be an asshole, like that type of stuff. And it was very, it's kind of very similar to what we do on the show. It's not that different. And I do think that cops do have a human side, and we do try to represent that a little bit, I wish.
I'm very good.
Well, thank you. You just scored some points.
Because I lost it.
I think Mannix has a question.
Hey.
Actually, I'm also a big fan of Game of Thrones, and so this is for John, but also for Penny if she wants to answer it. If you're in Game of Thrones, which house would you choose and why?
Interesting.
Intriguing.
I would own the dragons. I would definitely own the dragons.
So Targaryen for you.
I think I would be Targaryen as well. Or one of those slaves she has walking around with spears and helmets.
They have been tremendous lately.
Right?
Oh my God, I love
Loyal.
Game of Thrones. Oh, they're
Those guys are
wonderful.
loyal.
Yeah, I would be in that house.
Although, wait a minute, I heard they castrate those guys.
Yes.
I'm gonna backpedal on that. I would be in the house of Targaryen. But I don't have blonde hair. How do I...
Maybe Mattel also.
Oh yeah. Well, I might be on the wall though.
Oh, Night Watch.
I might be a part of the Night Watch.
You'd be really good at, oh yes, you said that. I'm having
Wear a
dreams.
big furry,
Yes.
wear a big giant fur shawl. Some sword playing on the wall. White Walkers, I can handle them.
And have you seen the latest episode?
Yes.
I have not. I'm not caught up. I've been on the road in Europe.
I'm caught up. I'm caught up on everything. I didn't have my husband since August 13th of last year. He was at the farm creating stuff. So I like taped and whatever, everything. And we OD'd off of everything. Game of Thrones was like, oh, talking about a guilty pleasure. We just didn't. Game of Thrones. Oh, what's the next? Oh, did you see that? No, they didn't. Oh, yes, they did. Oh, whoa. Look at little Shorty. Oh.
So, the other question is, which is your favorite character in Game of Thrones and why?
Shorty Bit is mine. Tyrion. I think he's wonderful. He's so confident. He's so sincere.
I like Tyrion. I like Littlefinger. I like Littlefinger. He's up to something. I don't know what it is, but he's so good at what he does. He's really good at what he does. So I like watching him. He's like a puppet master. I like watching him do that. We'll see what happens.
Wait in season 5.
I'm telling you. Thank you. I got a question.
Hi guys.
Hi.
My question is, have you ever read a script where you saw your characters doing something that you went like, I suppose you wouldn't do that, or Gates wouldn't react like that? Did you ever have anything like that and you were like going to the writing, are you sure about that?
Yes.
What was it?
Yeah, sometimes the writers, they live in this office, this room, it's not even close to the set, it's way over there.
Not the building.
Yeah, I think they kind of get stuck in there and trapped. And I don't know if it gets hot in there or something, but sometimes they forget what show they're writing for and which characters they're writing for. So every once in a while you just kind of have to talk to them and say, hey, look, man, have you been watching the show for the last 6 years? Because I would never say this, I would never do this. There's been a couple of times where just what I would say to Ryan. Like there's a certain relationship that Ryan and Esposito have, and we would never, as much as we poke fun at each other, there's always that support.
Underlying love?
Yeah, exactly. We're quite a love. And we would never say certain things to each other, and sometimes, and I've actually had an argument with a writer and or a director, a real argument, about something I'm saying to Ryan.
Can you give a specific example, or is that like none?
I will give you an example. So there was this scene where the two of us were recently, I don't know which episode it was.
Just give us the outline, we
But
know.
it was this last season, it was towards the end, and we were digging through the garbage in an alley, looking for something. And he was saying that I shouldn't say no so often. That I should say yes and.
I remember, yes,
Right?
but...
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I liked all that part. And then, when I see the homeless guy walk by, I go, hey, he might have seen something last night. He says, oh, see what you did there? You said yes and? And then I turned to him and I said, well, you should shut the hell up. And to me, I was like, that's a little abrupt and harsh. Why would I say that? I don't need to say that to him right there. And I had we held up production for about 30 minutes while I argued with the writer and the director. And I said, here's what I'll do. I'll say it one time, and then I'll say my version. I'll say something else. So we literally shot the scene. We did 9 takes or something like that. And I said it one time, shut the hell up. Which one did they use? Shut the hell up.
Because they would.
So I have a little bit of a vendetta against that writer and that director. So I'll see them this year. And I'll get mine. Mine revenge. That was German from My Revenge. Was it?
meine Rache.
John is right in that if you see, for me, I've seen words that just aren't Gates' rhythm, and they're definitely Ryan's. And I go, okay, you guys forgot that I'm in this episode, so it really is a Ryan line, and you just put Gates' name next to it. And I go, no, so I'll just tweak it just slightly. But more than a line, I was given a prop that I thought, this isn't Gates. And it was an iPhone. Some of you know that I just left the BlackBerry world and the flip phone. So I thought if Penny used it, maybe Gates did too. And Gates never had a phone, so all of a sudden Gates has a phone because it's more convenient for her not to go in her office to say that somebody called the mayor or something. She now has a phone walking around in the precinct with a phone. And not only is it a phone, it's an iPhone. They said, do this. I go, well, I don't have an iPhone, so I don't know how to use an iPhone. They said, well, Gates knows how to use an iPhone. I went, she's never used an iPhone. And it went on and on and on. And I thought it was cool. I just said, let's not do the phone. And so I did the scene without the phone. No, you don't do that. I don't know how soon Andrew came on the floor. He pulled me aside. He said, I hear we're having an issue. And I'm thinking, what issue did they just have? I said, he says, you don't want to do a scene? And I'm thinking, how did it get to now I don't want to do a scene? I want to use a phone. And he said, well, you have this aversion to phones? I said, no, actually, you know what the bottom line is? If you're going to make me use an iPhone in the scene, call Apple up and tell them to give Penny a phone. Ever, and she ended up with a phone, but I always try to hide it because I never wanted to. I now have an Apple. Okay, I have it. Nathan made me do it, so there you go.
We're running out of time. If your question is very, very small, and
I just was wondering while we were talking about seeing TV shows, if you see them and think, aha, they did use this camera, or the acting was in this scene was really good because they interacted that way.
If we're critical,
if we can recognize things in other shows that they do, there's some of the hours or the secrets they do, like movie magic type stuff, or can we relate to other shows as we're watching them in that way?
Or are we critical of it when we're watching it, right? I am critical in my own head, and I should shut my mouth when I'm watching it with anybody else because I will just ruin it. And that's what I do. I just shut up because it's entertainment and I don't want to ruin it for you. Because I know all the secrets. When I was doing Star Trek, I would tell my husband, you know those aren't real stars. And he said, don't ruin it for me. And so since then, I just, but if I'm with John, somebody like that, we'll go, what did they do? In the middle?
sorry, we have to say goodbye to John and Penny.
Bye.
John is signing right now, okay? Autograph.
I'm about to sign some autographs.